I'm joined now by Douglas Murray of the think tank, the Henry Jackson Society, and by the Labour MP, Rushanara Ali. Welcome to both of you. Rushanara Ali, is there anything realistically that the West, the European Union, the British government can actually do to solve this conflict?
Well, we need the European Union and including the British government to work together to show leadership and also to act as an honest broker. And what we've seen yet again is that Israel has shown complete disregard for humanitarian issues. Some 600 people are now dead, mainly civilians, 100,000 seeking refuge. And we need the European Union to be a strong voice in recognising, of course, Israel needs to maintain its security, but its reaction and response is not proportionate, and we need the European Union, including the British government, to speak up and work towards resuming peace negotiations, which have been completely elusive over recent years.
How does Israel maintain its security without this sort of violence that escalates?
Hey Veracity, welcome back to the channel. It's a girl Vermore, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Douglas Murray, and we have another one. Douglas Murray calmly destroys Muslim women on BBC. Let's go on, guys.
Well, this sort of violence and the death of so many people, particularly Palestinians, of course there have been casualties on the Israeli side as well, but the vast majority have been Palestinians, won't secure Israel, won't provide long-term security. What we need is the international community to work together. But also Israel needs to respect international humanitarian law, international law generally, and that's not...
Douglas Murray, with his characteristic calm and sharp wit, dismantled the arguments presented by Labour MP Rushanara Ali regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict in a gripping debate on the BBC. Ali passionately defends the Palestine cause. She accuses Israel of being an aggressor. Which serious nation would have stood by watching its citizens being killed?
Has Israel disregarded humanitarian and international law by going into Gaza in the way they have?
No, not at all. Apart from anything else, the very muted response, and indeed in many cases a very encouraging response for Israel from the international community, is, I think, testament to the fact that it is playing not just by the rules, but by the most stringent rules imaginable. The reason why the casualties exist in the Gaza is obviously because Israel is trying as an operational objective to stop Hamas and other jihadist groups from firing rockets into Israel. In order to do that, Israel is carrying out a very, very targeted campaign. Now, it is inevitable in that civilians are going to be killed as well. And one of the reasons why that is happening, excuse me, if I can just finish, one of the reasons why it's targeted, because they are trying to get the launch pads for that the rockets are coming from. Now, one of the reasons why there is a problem from this, of course, is that Hamas has, and incidentally CNN has the tape of this, among others, has been encouraging the people of Gaza to, quote, protect the houses of Hamas commanders, to actually congregate around areas which the Israelis have dropped leaflets and texted civilians to say this area is going to be hit. Hamas has actually tried to maximize the casualties. So that's the first point. As for how this is to be stopped, I think there's a very important thing that we do not, the international community does not simply perpetuate this conflict in trying to stop Israel from achieving the operational objective of stopping the rocket fire. The international, this is the third time now that this has happened.
Well,
and I would suggest
it's more than the third time.
No, the
actually.
third time there's been this exchange since 2000.
But Murray asserts that Israel's actions are supported by the international community, indicating the nation's adherence to stringent rules of engagement. He argues that the casualties in Gaza are a result of Israel's targeted operations to stop Hamas from firing rockets. How could Israel have maintained a balance between protecting its citizens and minimizing Hamas's civilian casualties in the face of attacks?
Right. OK. I mean, we'll look at the operation on what actually both sides are hoping to achieve. But Rushanara Ali, you told a demonstration at the weekend that David Cameron had failed to show international leadership. My party is with you, and the Labour Friends of Palestine are with you. Do you have Ed Miliband's support for your line on this conflict?
Well, Ed Miliband has made it absolutely clear that the incursion, the ground incursion, he said this only yesterday as well, the ground incursion is not one that is supported. We recognise Israel's demand, as Ed Miliband has said, to for its security, but its response has been disproportionate. And the point about international leadership is, if you look at what David Cameron said in 2010, he described the blockade of Gaza as an open prison. Gazan people are suffering, and what there seems to be a collective amnesia.
Of Hamas as well as Israel?
Of course, these groups. The point is that the public in Palestinians are suffering, and the international community has a responsibility to respond to the needs of those people.
I must just ask you, Douglas Murray, on the issue of operations. The last 10 years, there have been a series of ground and air operations by the Israeli Defence Forces on Hamas, and there are at least half a dozen of these. The rockets still continue to come into Israel. So the argument could be, are these Palestinians, innocent Palestinian civilians, losing their lives for nothing? The Israelis are not achieving their aims. The rockets continue from Hamas, and, all right, you are saying that they hide their munitions, their rockets and militant leaders in civilian buildings. But in the end, the Israelis have not stopped the rockets coming in, and more Palestinians are dying.
I mean, anyone interested in bringing peace to the region has to bear in mind the very serious learning curve that Israelis went through when, after the withdrawal from Gaza in 2005, they got not peace from Gaza, but rocket fire, thousands and thousands of rockets. So what they've been trying to do since is to stop the rocket fire. And as I say, since 2007, and Hamas did a coup, a military coup in the Gaza, and killed their fellow Palestinians from Fatah and other parties, the Israelis have, on 3 major occasions now, gone in. Now, the problem with this is that the international community tends to allow Israel some weeks in order to achieve the operational objective.
They're going to lose international support, aren't they,
now,
Israel?
The crucial thing, just to add on this, is it is very important that Israel is allowed to win at some point. The international community is quite good at prolonging the conflict precisely by not allowing Israel to achieve its objective.
Ali criticizes Israel's response as disproportionate, as well as decries the severe suffering of Gazans and insufficient intervention from the international community. But Murray maintains that Israel needs to achieve its operational goals of stopping rocket fire from Gaza to potentially end the conflict and bring about peace in the region. How much more can the international community respond to the humanitarian crisis of the Palestinians?
Rushanara Ali, what is it that Hamas wants to achieve? I mean, what is it? I mean, Trevor Phillips says that people voted for Hamas as opposed to Fatah, to the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. They voted for Hamas knowing that they would be much more hardline. So what is it that they want?
I hope what Trevor's not saying is that by voting for Hamas, those who voted were in some way are now deserve, or the punishment, collective punishment that is now being espoused.
No, that's an outrageous thing to say.
Let me finish.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
I very much hope not. But the point is that this cycle of violence is going on and on. The fact is that the Palestinians have lived under occupation, and Gaza
They're not under occupation. They have their own state.
That's nonsense.
Is a state, and it is run by Hamas, and they had one election, which, as Trevor said, the people voted for Hamas. Hamas then killed the opposition, and they've never had an election since. But they could have a state. If they wanted a state, they could have a state.
Let Rushanara finish her point. You're saying that they are living under occupation.
There seems to be a bit of amnesia here about the history of what's happening in that region, and the fact that Palestinians don't have a state. They have, lived under occupation. They've lived under attack, and what we need is rapidly, in order to secure peace, which is rapidly eluding this region, we need the international community. We need leaders in America and European Union to work together to resume negotiations and to first of all bring an end to this conflict.
The end of the conflict will be fastest brought about by Hamas being thrown out of the West Bank by the Palestinians of the West Bank, or by any other force available. We've got to remember this. The two-state solution, such as it is, and it's a dream, but it's still a possible dream if you talk about the West Bank.
Do the Israelis genuinely believe in that?
Yes, I think they do, with the West Bank. The thing that is a problem, and is an irreconcilable problem at the moment, is what you do with Hamas, which wants to annihilate the Jewish state and does not want peace. That is a...
Ali and Murray hold different positions on Hamas's objectives. While Ali throws her weight behind Palestinians voting for Hamas over Fatah, Murray suggests the removal of Hamas from the West Bank, either by Palestinians themselves or by external forces, as the solution. What is your take on the ongoing crisis and the solution proposed by Murray?
The real problem here is the agenda is now being controlled by people who don't want peace, whether it is the settlers on the West Bank or it's Hamas. That's the problem. How do we wrest the agenda out of the hands of those groups of people who, by the way, are not states? These are gangs.
Sure, and unfortunately, Gaza is run by a gang.
Let's leave it there. Thank you both very much.
With the challenge posed by Hamas's refusal to accept peace and its aim to destroy Israel complicating the pursuit of a two-state solution, it is agreed that the ultimate solution would be to shift the control of the agenda from non-state groups opposed to peace. Do you agree with this conclusion? Share your view in the comments.
Wow, this whole Hamas thing, war is never proportionate. One side wins, one side loses. I love the fact that Douglas keeps exposing the truth, facts about Hamas. I'm sure the Muslims would really hate Douglas right now, because Douglas is always exposing everything about their religion without keeping anything back. Whenever Douglas is talking, they're always interrupting him, talking over him. They don't allow him speak. But the other lady can speak, go on for as long as she wants. How pathetic. When you're debating with Muslims, it's like you're hitting your head on a stone. They literally don't even listen. The Muslim woman, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. She definitely is clueless. Whenever she talks, no one interrupts. But when it's Douglas, they all interrupt him. Imagine. Islamic countries have never abided by universal humanitarian laws. They are always operating on their own. They have their own laws, their own rules and regulations. What do you guys think about this? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up and please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, join WRECKS. Hit the subscribe button below, turn on the post notification bell so that you can always be the first person to know whenever a new video drops. And that's guys, see you in my next one. Bye.